I'm Chris Andrew, and I work with Xceligent, and on behalf of CCIMTECH and Site to Do Business.
And I'm Carol Campbell. I've been with Site to Do Business about 13 years now, and have been working with Chris for about the last year. And we're excited to show you something that we have recently released using some of Esri's tools. So our focus is, as Mike said, in the GIS world is working with commercial real estate professionals. We actually oversee a relationship between three organizations. The first one being the CCIM Institute, which Mike mentioned. CCIM is recognized as the most influential professional commercial real estate organization, and they set the global standards actually for education and for ethics. It's estimated that CCIM members close transactions annually in excess of $200 billion. That's with a B, billion.
And Xceligent is a leading provider of data and technology for the commercial real estate industry. They provide a product called commercialsearch.com, which is a national listing platform with nearly 500,000 active listings. They also provide research data in over 40 markets nationwide and continue to expand that footprint. Upcoming market launches include Houston, Charlotte, and Miami, and in 2017 we will be launching New York. About 2 years ago, Xceligent entered into a partnership with CCIM to oversee their technology platform, and key to that platform are the Esri products, Business Analyst, and ArcGIS Online, and we've been working in that relationship to produce that platform, which we call Site to Do Business.
Yes. So that's a little bit about the companies that we work with, but who are we? So this multi-company collaboration resulted in a portal site called STDB, or Site to Do Business. Site to Do Business offers, as Chris said, multiple tools for site and location analysis, including Business Analyst and ArcGIS Online. Site to Do Business was created back in 1999 by CCIM members, and then in 2006, Esri became our primary data provider, and we've been working with the commercial real estate team since. So our client, as we've already said, is the commercial real estate professional. But who are they? What do they do? How do they make money? Well, they can make money several different ways, but just a few examples are making money when a transaction occurs that would find a tenant or an owner for a site, or if you flip that, transactions occurring when you find a site for an owner or a tenant. But they also invest in commercial real estate. And they do this after careful analysis using the CCIM tools, which would include site and location analysis within Site to Do Business. Now, not all commercial real estate professionals have the same focus. So within our community, within the CCIM community, we've got brokers, owners, investors, appraisers, lenders, just to name a few of the different types of roles that they play in different areas of focus. What I'd like to do now is to introduce you to three of our CCIM members so you can get a little taste of what some of them are like. So this is the tale of three CCIMs. First, we have James. James is a longtime CCIM, and he used to be an asset manager, but now he invests his own money in commercial real estate. And although he lives in Omaha now, he's been given an investment opportunity in New York, but he doesn't know much about that market. And he needs to get some information. He's in a little bit of a quandary, however, because his assistant is out on vacation, and James doesn't know what to do. As he sits and stares at his AOL inbox, something comes to his mind. He remembers something about getting quick reports on Site to Do Business.
Susan is a CCIM that works for an appraisal firm, and just before lunch she met a client at a property. The client asked her to provide demographic information for the market area around the property, but as an appraiser she knows that she can't include information like ethnicity and things like that are prohibited. So the client then asked not only for the data, but also if she can display that data on the map, and then if she can have it to them by the close of business today. So Susan smiles, she says, sure, and off she goes off to eat lunch.
All right, here's Justin. Justin is a motivated millennial. He's a CCIM candidate, and he has an extraordinarily heavy workload. He has a listing presentation at 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 2. There is no way he can prepare his usual polished listing presentation, so an abbreviated version is going to have to do, but he still has to make a good impression, or he could lose the listing. So you kind of have a taste of the diversity that we have with the commercial real estate professionals that we work with. On the one hand, we've got our seasoned veterans. They are so experienced in commercial real estate, but they may not be as comfortable with technology. Plus, let's face it, these people are deal makers, so taking the time to learn some of those tools can be prohibitive. And then we got our young pups, our millennials that embrace the technology. They can figure that out real quickly. But sometimes even they need something on the fly, something really quick. And then we also recognize that there was a need for industry-specific reports because some of our members, when going into business analysts, weren't sure what data in there was relevant to what they were working on. So here was our challenge. How do we deliver the power of the Esri platform with this diverse community that we have in a way that engages new users?
So with this, we wanted to identify our primary objectives, and we've laid the groundwork for that. We wanted to enable CCIM members to differentiate themselves from the competition by delivering quality information. Commercial real estate is highly competitive. As a broker or an appraiser, you're always wanting to win new clients, close deals. And so how could we further enable them through the use of technology to be more successful? We wanted to define industry standard reports, office, retail, industrial, hospitality, specific reports that are common throughout the industry that need to be professional and to have the relevant information for the clients. We wanted to complement, not compete with existing tools. We did not want to go recreate tools that are already available to our members. We have a large section of our community that uses Business Analyst Web. We have others that use some of the applications within ArcGIS Online, and we facilitate training and education working with Esri to promote usage of that. But we also recognize that there's a lot of power in the Esri platform. Fully documented API. We wanted to say, how can we leverage that to engage users? And we also wanted to provide tools so that people can do things quickly. So even if they do use some of these tools, in those moments where they need to get in and do something and do it fast, and they don't need the full power of a business analyst, how could we provide that mechanism for them to accomplish that objective? We wanted some very specific design principles before we started into what our solution was going to be. We wanted to make sure it was very simple. We wanted to make sure that it was intuitive. We didn't want people to have to go through training to learn how to use this tool. They simply could go to it, and it would be something that even someone that has the AOL inbox could go in and figure out how to use. We wanted to make it fast. We wanted them to be able to generate a report from the time they open up the application to having a report that is generated within 3 minutes if they had the address or location already defined. We wanted to provide industry-specific reports that had consistent data. So while we recognize in custom reports within Business Analysts a very powerful new feature that they provided in Business Analysts, we also recognize that in our industry there's a lot of value in consistency so that when people are getting reports, the same format, the same sections, the same layout of data. We also wanted to leverage, as I mentioned, ArcGIS developer platform, and we also wanted to make sure that we had support for mobile functionality, which is up and coming, and so many people do things now on their mobile phones and an iPad. We also wanted to make sure that the technology was extensible, so if we needed to add new reports in the future, that it wasn't going to be a significant development effort, but we could create a solution on the technology side that would enable innovation and in a very iterative and quick way. So our process is we worked with CCIM leaders and to define the report content. CCIM as an organization are considered some of the top professionals in the commercial real estate industry. So we relied on them to say, what do these reports need to contain? What information do we want to include? For office, what are the attributes that need to be included? For industrial, what are those attributes? So we worked with seasoned professionals and leadership to define what that content would be. On the application side, We wanted a dedicated UX designer, someone that knew how can we, even though we're keeping that simple doesn't necessarily mean easy from a design perspective. How can we design this so that design's not just an afterthought? Our process, we wanted to make sure it was agile or iterative, something that you hear a lot in technology and sometimes can be just a buzzword, but we really wanted to adhere to those principles. So we started the 1st of October with our design phase, and by early December, we had beta testing going on. We had identified already a set of beta users within the CCIM community that had committed to not only get in and look at be involved with the process, but then to get in and actually use a working tool and provide us feedback before we released it to the greater members. And so in early December, we began beta testing. We went through that process. We released it to production the first week of January. And since then, we've added additional reports, and on average, it takes less than 3 days to define and build and release a new report to production. Did I jump ahead here? Possibly. Okay, process. So we worked with the CCIM leaders to define the content. Let me see. That's what we just did.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Key success factors. I think key success factors in a solution like this, you have to identify your target user. You can't be all things to all people. Someone in a previous presentation showed a slide that said, you know, the one size fits all fits no one. So that's very true. So we specifically identified we want to engage people that are reluctant to adopt technology. I saw a kid this morning on a bicycle with training wheels. And so sometimes that's how technology is. It's you want to introduce people to something that they don't feel overwhelmed or they feel like, hey, I can get in and do this. Knowing that for this group of users that currently are not using Business Analysts or ArcGIS, this can be their entry point to be exposed to technology, build their confidence, realize the power that is available to them, and then becomes the path by which they can continue to evolve and use some of these other tools. We wanted to focus on a single solution. Here again, we were looking to complement, not compete with the existing Esri tools. Team communication, not only internally, but with Esri. Esri was great to work with. Our developers worked directly with their technical people. So if we had questions on the API or data, things like that, we had that direct communication, so things moved quickly. Our team directly communicating with the commercial team here within Esri. So it was very collaborative. We had meetings, phone calls, video calls. We also had the support of CCIM executive leadership. In any initiative like this, executive stakeholder buy-in is critical for the success of any solution. And then the engagement of the beta users that we had that gave us the feedback so that we actually were able to prove out the simplicity and that we were going down the right path. So in this, this is the user interface we came with. We wanted to make sure it's very simple so they can come in and they can select a point, they can enter an address, or they can create their own study area on a map. And it just simply tells them, choose a study area, and then once they've chosen a study area, they can define a distance or drive time from that very easily. And then once they have done that, they simply click apply, and we'll go on to the next slide here. And then this is the report. So once they've defined that study area, they can easily go in and select from the list of reports. They choose their report because we wanted to have a little bit of flexibility. Within each report, there were 4 or 5 predefined sections. So if they wanted to include that section in their report, they could easily select those sections. You'll notice that the little icon there would show them how many sections they've selected. They click Run Report. And these reports literally are going out and calculating those things and being generated in less than a second. Very, very fast. For those that might be interested, we are running all of this on the cloud using Amazon Web Services. Afterwards, during the break, feel free to hit me up if you want more information on our technical stack and all of that, but I won't bore you with those details.
So the adoption of the SGB Express Center has been remarkable. Since we launched in January, we've engaged 1,500 unique users that have run over 5,000 reports. And as Chris said, a lot of those users are users who have never gone into business analyst because it was a little bit overwhelming to them. We've also gotten great feedback from our members telling us things like, we love the Express Center because with just a few keystrokes, I can get in and get the information that I need. I like the fact that, that I can have those industry-specific reports. And most of all, our members are happy that they can still use this data with the confidence that they use the data from Business Analyst and ArcGIS Online because it is Esri data. So here's the faces of 4 of our CCIM members, but we met some other members earlier that we need to check back in with. You remember them? We met James, Susan, and Justin, and we need to follow back up with them and see what happened with them after they used the Express Center. So James, he was smart enough to call the STDB customer care line, and within about 10 minutes, they had him the report that he needed. Actually, they walked him through so he could learn how to do it himself. And that gave him a little bit of the information he needed about the market area in New York where that investment opportunity was. He felt so good about himself being able to tackle that technology that he thought he was ready to take on Mark Zuckerberg. And more importantly, he made his afternoon tea time.
Susan went to lunch after the presentation, and after she ordered her lunch, while she was waiting for it, she got on her phone and she ran the report. But not wanting to be too overconfident or a little more modest about her superpowers, she waited for about after she ate and then emailed the report from her phone to the client. The client was amazed. They were hoping to have it by end of day. She had it to him in less than 2 hours after their meeting.
And Justin, we remember Justin. Well, Justin rocked his presentation. The prospect was so impressed with the market knowledge and data that Justin provided in that presentation that, of course, he got the listing.
So we want to encourage you to explore, imagine, innovate on the Esri platform. It is so powerful, well documented. Reach out. It's not about having data and maps. It's about what that platform can enable people to do. The CCIMs that we talked about and generating over 200 billion a year in transactions, our goal is that that technology enables them to generate over 300 billion in transactions, that it contributes directly to their success in their careers and in their businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carol and Chris. I'm excited to hear this story. We've been working together for 10 years as organizations. One of the things that we had to go through together was a little bit of evolution from some legacy technology to more modern architecture. How did you overcome some of the challenges that confronted you with your CCIM members and with the infrastructure in order to really make that happen? Because you've been extremely successful in the last 6 months.
Well, I'll address how we handled that with the CCIM members.
Sure.
Anytime you have a group of people and you're changing technology on them and it's something that they depend on a day-to-day basis, it's difficult. But we supported them the best we could with training. Once we moved from the legacy system into the current Business Analyst and ArcGIS Online, we actually last year did 53 6-hour classes out in the field in individual cities, going through those tools to help the members become more comfortable and learning not only how to use the tools, but then how to apply them in their business.
Awesome.
In addition to that, several different webinars have been conducted, and we continue to conduct webinars, not only for getting people onboarded, but then also for the new features that are coming out. On the technology side, there were some pain points, as there is anytime you switch from one platform to the other. But I think key to that success is we were all focused on, we know that with technology becoming more mobile and versatile, the desktop-based solutions needed to move over to an online experience. Sure. And so I think from a development perspective, the business analyst team was able to leverage a lot of that relationship with CSAM in the past on Business Labs to create that product. And then on our side, Excelligent, because this all kind of intersected at the same time, we worked through. So there were some pain points there, but I think the key to the success was communication and that we really collaborated. We didn't get into finger pointing. We didn't get into anything like that. We kept our goal in mind, and we got through those pain points, and it's been a very good experience since then.
Awesome. That's great.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.